Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Forsaken Guides. In this guide today, we're gonna have Chance and how you can play him like a competitive player. If you like these kind of guides, make sure you like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton. Once again, all of these games were played with subscribers and fans, so if you want to get into a video with me or be part of these guides, well, join the Discord that is linked in the description below. But without any further ado, I will put the timestamps on screen right now if you want to skip to a certain part of the video. And let's just hop right into the video. This is a very obvious ability. Just never use this when you are right up against a killer's face, obviously. If the killer can hear you flipping your coin, they're probably going to try to find you. So just try to flip your coin somewhere where the killer is nowhere near, of course. And please, never try to shoot your gun if you don't have 3 charges. Never shoot your gun if you don't have 3 charges. That's pretty obvious, but, some chances don't do that. And that's the only really tip, quote unquote, I can give you for coin flip. Just don't do it in the killer's face, and please get all 3 charges so you don't blow yourself up. Now, Chance is a very unique individual from the rest of the Sentinels for one reason and one reason only. You're actually going to be playing Chance usually as a support Sentinel. And what do I mean by that? Well, supports usually want to stay out of the line of sight from killers, and Sentinels obviously want to be up in the killer's face more often than not. But the way that Chance plays is usually kind of on both sides. The whole point of your ranged ability is that you use it for range. You're making sure people are safe without endangering yourself. If you get too close to a killer, and if you are the one taking the chase, then respectfully, you have done it incorrectly. You have gotten too close to the killer and you've gotten too vulnerable. Because the thing about Chance is he gets weakness, right? Every time he rolls his coin, he gets weakness. And if you don't have your stun, you have nothing that can really help you, as of course with every Sentinel, but Chance especially. And using your shot in a chase is honestly very ineffective because it's such a long windup and it's so easy to dodge. What you're really using your shot for is to really help your other survivors out when they're in precarious situations. Like, for example, when a 1x is charging a mass infection, when John Doe is starting spikes, anything like that, right? You have to make sure that the killer does not see you when you are using your stun, because there's that 10% chance that you blow up or your gun doesn't go off at all. And if the killer catches this, well, guess what? You're dead on the spot. You're almost dead on the spot because you're getting punished, and the killer is right next to you when the chase starts, so you're almost guaranteed completely dead. So please, 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 make sure you're using your shot far away to help your fellow survivors. If you're using it in a chase, you're probably doing it wrong, because even if you have amazing aim, you're gonna get punished more often than not for the windup. When it comes to reroll, it's actually pretty different in preference when it comes to the chance player themselves. I have a certain way that I like to use my reroll and what health I like to get to, but there's a lot of different ways that people like to play chance, and honestly, this is the first time in this series that I'm going to leave this one up to your preference completely, because how I like to do that is when the match starts, I need to get over 100 HP. If I don't have as much HP as a normal base survivor, I am not going to really join the fight yet. And I'm usually pretty lucky, so I get it by the first or second try. But this one's completely up to you. However much HP you're comfortable with for starting the game, go ahead. That's all up to you. Once again, using Hatfix is a little subjective, but my favorite time to use Hatfix is when I've gone above 10 weakness, because that's usually roughly the point where you actually start taking really punishable damage if you do get hit with your weakness and you get caught lacking. But once again, pretty subjective of what weakness you're willing to go past or to stay at. So just honestly, once again, it's up to discretion. Use it whenever you feel like you've got a little too much weakness. Like I said, I always use it past 10, but you can do it however you want, honestly. That's what makes Chance so fun. So coming into the first set here, we are up against Slasher, and very similarly to all of the other Sentinels, the best thing you can punish against Slasher is when they come out of their raging pace, because they have so much end lag after M1ing out of it, that you can get almost a guaranteed shot for free out of it, and in fact, that's what you're about to see in just a second. I noticed that the Slasher is chasing my teammate here, so I'm waiting around the corner because I know they just raging paced, and they're gonna M1 at the end of this to catch up, and they do, they M1, so I get a free shot on the Slasher and everyone can get a bit of distance here. And that is the best way to punish Slasher, absolutely. There's not really many other really good or guaranteed ways to punish Slasher. So if you're really looking just for the guaranteed stun, then you can wait for that. But as you're going to notice with Chance, the best ways to shoot as well, if you are not waiting for a guaranteed punish like that, is when they are chasing a teammate and do not have the ability to look around far enough because you're so far away, because that's what Chance is all about, is sniping the killer when they least expect it. The Slasher comes and starts breaking the turret here, and with this full team of just absolute goats, there's nothing the Slasher can really do against us. I noticed that the Slasher is coming around this corner a whole bunch, and since this is such a linear area, I know it's a very good spot to go for a shot, but I do miss there because they move a little sporadically around the shield and such. So I wait around the corner, and the Slasher comes around as well, but they have no idea who to go for because everyone is just kind of in the Slasher's face, which is pretty hilarious. But I'm just waiting for my shot to come off cooldown once again, and the Slasher is still trying to decide who to go for. They do not know what to do with so many Sentinels just standing right up in their face. Dusakar as well in the back lines, shielding everyone as well. It's not helping Slasher at all. Gets stunned by Shedletsky there, which is pretty funny. And once again, we're off to the races. Everyone's just doing their own thing. Gets punched but has stun immunity, so he just tanks it. And here he comes around the corner down a linear path, so I take that as my chance and immediately get a shot right up in their face. Again, a pretty dangerous thing to do because if my gun didn't go off, I would have gotten obliterated. But that's just always something to keep in mind. If you want to play a bit riskier and get a longer stun, then go right ahead. But if you do fail, you will take a huge chunk of damage, so always be careful for that. But the Slasher is once again going around in circles, not fully knowing who to go for, and I can't blame them. In a lobby such as this one, it was really fun playing with fans. Join the Discord below, make sure you join, that's where all these games are going to be played. But now I'm waiting once again for my shot to come off cooldown, thinking that I can get 4 shots off this match, which is pretty funny. I didn't hit my second one, but being able to shoot this many times is still pretty funny. But Slasher is getting stunned so often that I really can't get a good shot on them. But I am going to try to get one regardless. They get stunned right here, and I just let my shot go immediately. I didn't think they would get stunned, so just shot him directly in the face without actually accomplishing anything. But there you go, we get the win, and now we can move on to Coolkid. Now going up against Coolkid, there is a wonderful way you can use Chance, although it's very hard to pull off. I don't pull it off in this match, but if somehow you are able to kill Coolkid's minions and stun him all at once, then that is obviously the best way you can use Chance's shot. But it's very hard to pull off, because not only do you have to be right next to Coolkid and be right up in his face the second he tries to use his minions, but you also have to, your gun doesn't blow up in your face. So a lot of things have to go right for that to happen. And usually you will not have that happen. So if you do have it happen, that's amazing. But usually not. Immediately off the bat here, I'm getting absolutely mixed because, well, I was not paying attention in all honesty. But we're both out of stamina, and I realize this, so I'm able to just turn around and get a free shot. The Elliot gets right up in my face and heals me, and tries to heal me, sorry, which is absolutely fantastic. But unfortunately, someone else got in the way of it. But everyone is trying to protect me, which is very cool to see. I get a shield here from Dusakar, so I'm able to regain my stamina and take some hits, or take a hit, and then continue the chase from there. And it's honestly looking like Protect the President right now. It's pretty funny to watch. Very cool stuff to see when a team is cooperating this hard. But the Coolkid is still trying to go for me, and they finally gas out on their stamina, so they try to summon minions to put some pressure, but there's really nothing that they can do to pressure me in the current moment. So I just get as far away as I can, and Elliot does wait for the heal to come off so they can heal me immediately. Very cool stuff, as I said. But they get the heal out and I'm able to heal up. So now I'm ready to go shoot my shot again and hopefully get a good shot as again, because the first time I did get my shot off in chase, which is pretty nice to get. Pretty lucky stuff. But the Coolkid starts chasing Dusakar up around this mountain, so I go to the other side of the mountain anticipating the Dusakar to come around. But the Dusakar does not, they keep going around, so I get up closer, and as they chase the Dusakar around the corner, I get my shot off because Coolkid was not expecting it, and that is what chance is all about, getting your shot off when they don't expect it. They tried to punish a Shedletsky for missing their sword swing, but they missed somehow, which is unfortunate. So once again, waiting for my shot to come off cooldown, and mostly just trying to taunt the killer and get in his face a little bit, so he can be undecided on where to go next. And he is. It's pretty hard to decide who to focus when everyone's in your face the entire game. Gets backstabbed by 2-time here, and I can't imagine what it's like. Well, I can't imagine because I did play some killer rounds and got demolished, but it's very rough when you're just playing being stunned simulator. It's pretty hilarious, actually. The Coolkid does see me once again and decides to start going for me. I pull off a nice little juke here and start moving the other way, but the minion does get in my face. But because I was already low on stamina, I go for the Hail Mary shot, and the Coolkid tries to get around me, but nope, I immediately snap around and shoot the Coolkid right in the face, which is just enough time for the timer to run out and for us to win. A pretty close call, but a pretty good shot to end the round there. Now up against John Doe, you can obviously interrupt his spikes because if you do, he will get speed 1 for 10 seconds. So it's a little dangerous to do sometimes, but when you are playing chance, that doesn't matter for you. You can just stun him and you don't even have to be that close to him, so the speed won't really matter too much as long as none of your other teammates are around. So that's immediately what I'm thinking here, is that against John Doe, chance is a wonderful sentinel, if not the best, because your interrupting of his spikes has no punishment at all. So that's what I'm really watching out for here most of this game, is when is John Doe going to try to spike, and when can I punish that? Because you will save your teammates so much if you're able to interrupt spikes from such a far away distance, because the John Doe will not be able to go for you, nor your teammate if they're playing smart. But immediately the Shedletsky almost dies completely, so that's why I'm getting ready to defend the Shedletsky. I do miss my shot here, but it gives the Shedletsky just enough time to get away, and for both of our Eliots to throw some pizzas out. The Shedletsky is able to munch on one of them, but I try to lead him to the second one as well, and John Doe does get stunned, so he does get enough time to, and he comes and eats the second pizza as well. So amazing stuff. Everyone's basically full health here, and once again I am waiting for my shot to come off cooldown so I can try to interrupt spikes once again. I used my first shot as a desperado attack because the Shedletsky was really close to dying. That's why I used it without the preemptive spike ability. But in this case, I am waiting for the spikes. But I see a perfect opportunity. I'm super far away. The John Doe was getting very close to Shedletsky there. So I get a free stun from super far away, and the John Doe is not able to do anything about it, because how would you react to a chance that is so far away on the map? So they're stuck or forced to drop the chase against Shedletsky for a little bit. Guest gets a very good punch here, and everyone gets some distance away from John Doe. And once again, the John Doe starts actually going for me, and I'm able to run around the trap, and before the John Doe can really realize. But I do take a hit anyway, because I was in a bit of a bad position, but it's no worries at all, because they have the rest of my team to worry about. And once again, I'm waiting, and this John Doe keeps going down this linear path right here, but the Shedletsky is out of stamina, and I'm getting a little scared for him, so I do end up trying to shoot for him, and it does connect this time. And that's usually what you're doing is chance, even if your shot does miss. If it looks like your teammates are in a precarious situation, if they're out of stamina, it looks like they're out of stamina, they're trying to regain stamina from a Dusakar shield, that's a good time to shoot the killer, because the killer is usually standing still as well, or walking, trying to match the stamina gain that the survivor's getting. So it's a perfect time to get a easy shot off on the killer, because they're also walking and they can't really pay attention to a chance who's 50 studs away, or 30 studs, or I don't know how many studs, but it works out perfectly. So now that I have my shot back in 5 seconds, I'm waiting to use it. The game's about to end. I'm hoping I'm able to get the shot off. And as you can see, I actually do. He tries to chase Shedletsky one more time, defend Shedletsky one more time, and that's it. Now against Noli, the best thing to punish in my opinion is the teleport, because the teleport can be very annoying to your teammates because it almost gives everyone that hallucination and fake Noli. So if you're able to stop that from happening at all, then that is a very big help to your team actually. And if you're not quite confident on hitting your shots, I would actually just completely save your shot for that. But immediately off rip, the Noli gets a lot of hits off on our Elliot, so I need to defend Elliot as fast as possible. He came around the rock and I just shot him straight in the face, even if it meant taking a hit myself, because our Elliot gets a lot of distance and can escape pretty easily. But as I was saying, if you can stop the Noli from using teleport, then that is an absolutely huge help to your team, because it shuts down all the fake Nolis that could have possibly just spawned for everyone. So if you, like I said, if you're not confident in your aim, then just save your shot for Noli's teleport, and it's great to use like that. It's a very good ability to punish, especially since Noli has an entire wind up and animation until they actually do teleport. So you can usually get your shot off in time, no worries. I'm keeping my distance once again, trying to see who Noli is going to go for here. He keeps doing some check attacks behind him. I'm still trying to keep an eye out for who he's really going for, and I see Noli's trying to come down this lane here, so I get another free shot off on him, and everyone can get a bit of distance. And that's just one of the many examples of taking advantage of the more linear paths. The Noli tries to Void Rush me, but I just sidestep out of the way. And now that Noli doesn't have Void Rush, we're free to go around the castle like this without Noli getting any free distance. But once again, I'm just trying to get my shot off cooldown and get all the charges for it. And Noli does not quite know where to go. Trying to look around to see who the best target would be. Does Void Rush straight into the little pocket over here. And now that my shot's about off cooldown, I'm ready once again to defend anyone that Noli may be going for. But Noli starts going for Guest, who I'm very confident in, so I try to hold on to my shot for now until Guest seems like he needs it. But he does not. But I'd go for the shot anyway, just because I was being a little greedy. And it does actually end up working out. The Guest does get some decent distance there, because the Noli was not expecting my shot at all. A lot of lag right here as well, but it's no worries at all, because the Noli is so far away from everybody. There's almost nothing the Noli can do in this situation, especially against a team comp like this. Just getting stunned out of nowhere, getting backstabbed, getting charged, build their man's turrets. There's nothing Noli can really do about this, and that's unfortunate. I don't get my charges for the rest of this game, at least I don't think so. And that will mark the end of the match, and there's really nothing Noli could have done, but this was a good example of catching the killer off guard with some unexpected long-range shots and protecting teammates. Now 1x is the best killer to be able to go against when you are Chance, because you can just punish dang near everything. If someone gets entangled, you can shoot the 1x as they're running up to the person entangled for free because they'll be too tunnel focused. If they try to mass infection, you have enough time to react to it and then shoot them in the face before it can really come out. There's just so much you can do against 1x's Chance. It's really wonderful. Immediately as this game starts, they try to chase Dusakar and down this semi-linear path, so I shoot them right in the face so Dusakar can get some good distance away from the 1x. And I start flipping my coin behind a safe spot, obviously, waiting for another good moment to strike as the 1x goes for Guest. The 2-time tries to get their backstab there, but to no avail. But the 1x is already out of stamina, so it doesn't matter too much. They try to mass infection Guest through the building, and it actually does connect, which is unfortunate. But I'm waiting around this corner, hoping that the Guest continues to loop this main area so that I can catch the killer off guard with an unexpected shot. It does come off cooldown in 5 seconds, and that's all I'm thinking here is how can I protect Guest here? And it comes at the perfect time because they try to chase Guest around this little area here, so I know I'm going to be able to get a good shot off, and I absolutely do. I come around the corner when they don't expect it and get a free shot off, giving the Guest some time to get their stamina back. Once again, the 1x has to change targets because of this and starts going and shooting projectiles off into who knows where. But the 1x does actually see me through the wall with that unstable eye and starts trying to come around through, but once he realizes that there's way too many people here, he gives up on that idea and once again goes backward to chase someone else instead. But my shot's almost off cooldown once again, so I'm getting ready to parry any mass infections or stun any attempted entanglements that he might get. It's unfortunate I wasn't able to protect 2-time there because my shot wasn't enough cooldown, but next time I will be able to. The 1x comes down here, and I'm getting ready to maybe shoot 1x as they jump down the ledge. 2-time does get hit once, and that's unfortunate. But as 2-time comes around this bend here, they get backstabbed, or the 1x gets backstabbed by a different 2-time. So I can hold on to my shot for now, and right now I'm just sticking to 2-time so they don't get immediately killed. 1x knows that this 2-time will probably be the only way they are going to get a kill in this game, and I know that as well, so I'm watching out for the 1x in case they try to keep going for the 2-time. And as they come around this corner, I thought they would go around the corner once again, so that's why I used my shot, but they unexpectedly went for me, and it's a pretty funny encounter. I shoot them in the face, and they entanglement me, and I'm able to break out of the ads before the 1x is able to break out of stun time, so I'm able to get away easily, which is a pretty funny encounter. But the 2-time does end up getting found in the house and goes down and dies, which is unfortunate because usually these matches don't have anyone dying, so very sad there, but it's no problem at all. That just means that I'm able to get my shot off cooldown before this game ends once again, and that's what I'm waiting for behind this corner, trying to make sure I keep my eye on where the killer is while just waiting for my shot to come off cooldown. The guest gets hit by entanglement right next to me, and I can't help them unfortunately, or I would have right there, only 2 seconds until it was off cooldown. I immediately tried to use my shot here as they round the corner, but I was just a couple frames off from it hitting. But it doesn't matter because the guest had already completely escaped, and that's just what I'm waiting around this corner for now is the end of the match. Because there's no way this 1x could have killed anybody else as they were body blocking for the last survivor. But that'll be the end of the match and another good example of how to protect your teammates when they are in a heated chase. So taking everything we learned in this video, Chance is a support sentinel and you have to make sure you realize that. If you are taking the chase or if you are the one getting chased, you got a little too close and you should not be doing that. All of your stuns should be unexpected and the killer should have no idea that you were even there to begin with, so they just get immediately hit. You're usually helping your fellow survivors when they're in a precarious chase when you realize that your fellow survivors are getting low on stamina, so you're able to catch the killer off guard and give your fellow survivors even a second or two of help, because that's all it takes when it comes to getting a chase reset. If you want to go for a super up close shot, it's very, very dangerous, but if you really must go for that, then you should play it like 2-time and be waiting around corners and catch the killer off guard like that. But it's much better to catch the killer off guard with a very far away shot, because as long as you're doing that, even if you miss or even if your gun explodes on itself, the killer will not be able to punish you for that. So it's just a more safer thing to do in general. And there's also a couple animations that you can guarantee get a punish on, which is Jason's Raging Pace or Noli's Teleport, just things like that. But if you like these kind of guides, make sure you like and subscribe once again. Join the Discord in the link below if you want to join me and get into my videos and games. But I will see you all in the next guide. Have a good night.